bifocals. Not only does it treat your vision and that lack of zoom and that need for reading glasses and bifocals, but it also prevents cataracts in the future.
It starts with a free, no-obligation eye exam.
I would encourage anybody to make the call and go get a consultation.
0% financing for 36 months makes it more possible than ever.
DLR is an investment for your eyes and for your life, and I love every minute of it.
Call 733-2020 or visit clearsight.com.
KRXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite station for sports. Tonight, in every part of our state, the games have been played and champions are being made. And we're covering every single matchup from GameDayOklahoma.com. This is the Prep Sports Postgame, presented by Aspen Health and Rehab. We're taking you all the way up to midnight as we check in with the state's leading coaches and broadcasters for reports on tonight's game. The Prep Sports Postgame is also brought to you by
Pike Pass and the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, Billy Sims Barbecue, Rogers State University, Pioneer Cellular, NES, #1 choice for Epson quality office products, by the Martinez Agency, the Cherokee Nation, Legacy Entertainment LLC, Diesel Horse Sports and Orthopedics, and by the Scortal app, Oklahoma's source for real.
From Boise City to Broken Bow, from Miami to Mangum, here's Grant Merrill and Randy Heights as the Prep Sports postgame starts now.
Hello, Oklahoma, and welcome into the Prep Sports postgame on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. I am Grant Merrill. He is Randy Heights. It is 10 o'clock in the greatest state in the union, and we appreciate you being in with us for the Prep Sports postgame. And we're getting down to business. It is getting down to where it really counts, Randy, and we've starting to get some surprises tonight as we get toward the district standings and the playoff implications.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of games out there tonight, a few surprises. Some that didn't end up being upsets, but a lot closer than we thought, and a couple of upsets on the board as well.
This would go in the category. Broken Arrow pulling it out over Edmond in the last minute and a half from like right now. 47-42 final there. Adam Hildebrand joining us here in just a few minutes. So that's a big game tonight. Shocker here. We've been talking about this on the flagship tonight. Owasso fourth quarter action trailing Mustang 40-28.
Yeah, and that by far and away is the biggest shock of the night, because Mustang, I mean, comes in 4-3. Owasso, #3 team in the state, and looks like a powerhouse. And one game doesn't mean you're not going to win it all, but I mean, that's a pretty big upset brewing right there.
Those Blankenship family dinners getting a little more interesting. It's, of course, Lee Blankenship, the cousin of Bill Blankenship, head coach at Owasso, and Lee being at Mustang there. All right, let's go to the NES scoreboard. It's powered by Squirtle tonight. NES, Oklahoma's #1 choice for copiers and office equipment. Other 6A1 scores tonight. Westmore is ahead and beats Edmond Memorial 24-17. Moore, J.D. Northcutt ought to be happy about this. He got to call their win over Putnam City tonight, 45-21. Union gets by Norman North tonight, 30-14. It was a little closer than that earlier in the game. We'll talk to, I believe, Coach Frederick coming up later in this hour as Chris Lincoln has the night off. Norman at Enid tonight. Norman wins that one 22-19. Tom Nelson coming up to talk about that one. Jinx beats UConn on the road tonight, 48-14. Edmond North over Southmore, 31-13. Let's go to Class 6. Already a win for Booker T. Washington tonight. They beat Ponca City 41-10. Sand Springs falls to Choctaw. They fall to 4-3 on the season so far. 41-28 the final score there. Stillwater blanking Northwest Classen tonight, 70-0. Bartlesville over Putnam City West. They end up winning that one 41-19. First win of the season for Jason Sport and the Bartlesville Bruins. Midwest City falling to Putnam City North 24-12. Del City over Deer Creek in overtime right now. We are watching that one as Del City may have just won that one.
I think Deer Creek may have the ball next.
Well, when you don't have the timer on the clock, you kind of hard.
I believe that's what it is, because they're having a team huddle. So Del City's up by 7, but Deer Creek's got the ball.
We'll keep you up to date on that one. Lawton beats U.S. Grant tonight, 57-0. Bixby over the Muskogee Roughers, 56-14.
What's wrong with Bixby? They only scored 56.
I don't know. We'll talk Huddleston if he wants to talk to us. We saw him at Bixby tonight.
Hey,
so.
it could have been worse. It could have been a rainy night.
That in Bixby, that may have been the only place he could get a cell phone signal, but there is that.
That's true. Hey, let's go through the 5A scoreboard tonight. The big score of the night as far as amount of points on the board might have come from the Duncan Demons. They score 80 tonight to beat Capitol Hill 80-0. Guthrie over Lawton Ike 28-10. McAllister over Edison Prep 52-17. You got Bishop Kelly over East Central 48-12. That game in the fourth quarter. Lawton Mac and Altus. Lawton Mac wins the game 50-6. Another final, Woodward over Guyman 51-8. Coweta knocks off Shawnee 41-13. With a big number over Tulsa Memorial, 71-7. Tahlequah knocks off Glenpool, 47-13. Claremore over Nathan Hell, 55-12. Other scores from 5A: Will Rogers over Durant, 53-32. You got Noble knocking off Southeast, 48-28. Pryor over Sapulpa, 36-21. Bishop McGinnis, they knock off Piedmont, 18-0. And one more final from 5A: Ardmore over El Reno, 49-7.
Class 4A scores tonight. Bethany beats Chickasha 38-20. Tecumseh falls to Hera 42-19. Cushing beating Blanchard tonight in the 107-7 game of the week 27-13. It was Miami beating Catoosa tonight 27-19. Tuttle over Ada tonight 53-6. Podos Pirates blank Muldrow 48-0. It was Newcastle over Elgin 44-21. Broken Bow beats Fort Gibson 37-24. That was actually a pretty good game right there. Both of them with one loss coming into that ball game. John Marshall beats Class at SAS tonight 42-18. Wagner blanking Oologah. Hope Brent Kellogg's in a good mood when we talk to him here in a bit. 52-0 final score there. Hilldale beats Salisaw 56-13. Stillwell over McLean 46-16. Clinton beats Weatherford in an I-40 battle. Red Tornadoes end up winning that one 42-0. Bristow over Skiatook 54-14. Elk City over Cache 52-7. Grove beats Cleveland tonight 56-7. And we did mention that Muldrow score. 3A, what's that look like?
Well, real fast, the update from 6A2. Del City gets the victory over Deer Creek 35-20, holding on a 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line. So a big stop there for the Eagles, continuing their 6-game winning streak. That team is red hot right
Defensive play of the year for sure.
It's pretty impressive how they're playing. Now 3A scores. Veneta over Inola 42-14. Holland Hall, they shut out Jay tonight. Actually, that was a second quarter score is the last one we had from there. But I'm going to go ahead and guess Holland Hall went ahead and won because the last score we had was 35-0 Holland Hall.
Yeah, we'll get a clarification on that and make sure.
Yeah, Kingfisher over St. Mary's 15-13. Bridge Creek over Douglas 27-6. Pauls Valley defeats Kingston 35-28. Lincoln Christian over Chakotah 55-12. Heritage Hall knocks off Anadarko 45-22. Verdigris over Manford. Seminole, they knock off Westville 42-8. Sulphur shuts out Dixon 49-0. Plainview over Little Axe 64-6. Stigler with a shutout of Locust Grove 61-0. Lone Grove over Medill 28-21. Heritage Hall over Anadarko. Sorry, I already gave that one already, but Heritage Hall won 45-22. And Perkins Tryon, they knock off McLeod 41-6. Actually, that was the third quarter score, the last one we had from them.
Class 2A tonight. Metro Christian bouncing back from last week's loss as they end up beating Boris tonight 35-0. Jones over Millwood 34-12. Atoka beats Valiant 35-7. Beggs over 14. Community Christian beating Purcell in the third quarter at last update 28-17. Comanche beats Tishomingo, or at least leads them in the fourth quarter 62-22. Frederick beats Lindsay tonight 46-34. Rejoice Christian over Dewey 64-0. Kansas beats Nowata 44-20. They will be the only Kansas team winning this weekend in Oklahoma for sure.
No doubt.
Blackwell over Chisholm tonight 50-14. Vian over Panama 41-7. It was Roland over Huebner 48-14. Alva falls to Hennessy tonight on the road 43-18. Chris Ruwalt coming up later in this hour to talk about that one. Luther over Newkirk 41-6. It was Victory Christian over Mulgee 77-12 tonight.
Dang.
Bethel beating Lexington 44-7. It was Holdenville falling to Washington 69-0. Marlow over Marietta tonight 58-19. Hugo falls to Antlers 30-20. Haskell beats Henrietta 54-6. Oklahoma Christian over Perry tonight 49-14. Crossings over Kellyville 42-12. It was Keys beating Spiro 32-29. Final score in that one. Hartshorn falling or over Wilburton tonight. Final score there 42-20. Star Spencer falls to Prague. Prague ends up going to 7-0 on that. Or well, no, hang on, 53-14. We'll check that. That is fourth quarter action. Pecola ends up falling to Cassia Hall 40-8. It was Davis beating Colgate tonight 21-14. Chandler over Meeker 48-16. Adair squeaks by Salina 22-20. Eufaula over Idabel 49-28. And it was Christian Heritage over Crooked Oak 48-13. Few Class A scores, Randy.
All right, Okema over Kanawha 58-22. Burns Flat Dill City over Sayre 54-35. Oklahoma Christian Academy over Crescent 34-28. Elmore City over Wayne 34-26. Caney Valley over Shoto 41-7. Mounds and Stroud in the fourth. Mounds leading 42-28. Merritt over Thomas 29-14. Liberty knocks off Savannah 54-14. Mangum over Minko tonight 26-14. Boone doubles up Hobart 40-20. Helton over Stratford 37-14. Hooker knocks off Texoma 46-0. Tonkawa over Hinton 33-14. Cashin over Ulysses, Kansas 34-13. Cashin the victor there. Walters over Carnegie 30-8. Ketchum defeats Wyandotte 22-7. Ringling shuts out Dibble 43-0. This had to be a forfeit, I'm guessing here. Pawhuska over Afton 2-0.
Yeah.
Oklahoma Bible over Wellston 60-12. Colcord defeats Tallahena 70-8. Watauga knocks off North Rock Creek 44-12. Canadian and Warner picks up a big number 76-0 over Canadian. Pawnee and Morrison 48-20 over Pawnee. Fairview over Moreland 42-20.
All right, we're going to take our first break of the hour and be right back. This is the Prep Sports Post Game on the Game Day Oklahoma Network.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Why did we choose State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. Tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
When Oklahoma companies need a copier, they choose NES. NES has an exciting new partnership that is saving clients time and money. Owner Eddie Silkey is here to tell us more about the Epson difference.
They have come up with a patented technology called Precision Core. It's a heat-free technology. It's affordable. It is easy to use. From a service perspective, very few parts that need to be replaced. It's a simple device.
Find out more by calling 918-665-5502 today.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scorings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
I barely felt anything, and it was over in less than 10 minutes.
Almost instantaneous. That up, you can tell a difference.
Patient after patient after patient proclaims profound surprise eyes and delight at the speed and simplicity of their LASIK from Dr. Luke's team at Clearsight.
So one of the most common things I hear after doing LASIK is, you know what, Doc, I can't believe how fast that was.
I got up off the table and was like, that's it.
It starts with a free, no obligation eye exam. Have your free exam at Clearsight by October 31st and get a new pair of Maui Jim, Ray-Ban, or Kate Spade sunglasses on us when you have your
The
LASIK.
experience of it being easy just shows how complex and how far we've come to make it easy for the patient.
Call 733-2020 or visit clearsight.com. And remember,
2020 or it's free.
that's the Clearsight guarantee. And you are going to love what you see.
One of the most simple procedures you could ever have to improve your life so drastically.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the freshest lineup of SUVs in America for everyone. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. Based on Source Incorporated data obtained on 10/5/20. Visit your Oklahoma Ford dealer to take advantage of great offers available now on Ford Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Choose from low financing and big cash rebates. See your best in Oklahoma Ford dealer today.
Ken Boyer is everywhere. When a loved one has stumbled and ends up in jail, call Ken Boyer to make the bail. For immediate bonding day or night, look no further than Ken Boyer Bail Bonds. With over 35 years experience, let Ken and his professional staff help you. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, accepting all major credit cards. Conveniently located just 3 blocks north of the jail at the corner of Northwest 6th and Chartel. The right bondsman can make a difference. Call Ken Boyer Bail Bonds.
10:16 across the great state of Oklahoma, back here on the Prep Sports Postgame, presented by Aspen Health and Rehab, your choice for long-term care in Northeast Oklahoma. Grant Merrill, Randy Heitz along with you. Appreciate you being with us wherever you are tonight and on whatever station you are listening to. A big, exciting, down-to-the-wire game tonight between the Broken Arrow Tigers and the Wolves of Edmond Santa Fe. Voice of the Tigers, Adam Hildebrand, not calling us from a luxury resort like he tried to 2 weeks ago, but he is probably somewhere in the press box at Broken Arrow. Well, now we find out.
Now you made him mad. Look
He
at
hung
him.
up.
Yeah, maybe he's mad he's not at their luxury resort anymore.
Was it something we said?
Exactly. Come on.
Gosh. Say one thing about his life of his jet-setting
His life of
lifestyle, and
luxury?
he hangs up on us.
Yeah. Well, Eric's getting him back on. But yeah, a lot of good games tonight around the state of Oklahoma. And actually, I mean, I know I had a few more scores to give to you from Class A if I get this pulled
Yeah,
right
go
back.
ahead. Oh, no. Is
now
that
we're ready? Now we're
good.
ready. Okay.
Good deal. All right. Back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline where the voice of the Broken Arrow Tigers has rejoined us. Adam, was it something we said?
No, it was, whatever reason, there is a spot for me right out in front, or right behind the south end zone at Tiger Memorial Stadium. I don't know why that is. I can't get any data here. I drove through the one parking space, apparently, and just shot me right off the line.
The middle of the most urbanized area of the Tulsa Metro, and you can't get a cell phone call out.
They're trying to keep the spies out. That's what it is.
Probably so. Probably so.
Be, yeah.
Well, you had a thriller tonight. Tell us about it.
Holy cow. There were 80 changes. I mean, that's a basketball number of lead changes. It was just an incredible back-and-forth football game. Marion Horn went for over 200 yards again. Sterling Ramsey completed 80% of his passes. And the Tigers had to fight through some injuries. Dietrich Moore, who's been the star in the middle of that defense all year, went down with an injury in the first quarter. It took a while to adjust, but they were able to play better on the defensive end of the second half, and it ended up being an interception that won it at the end of the game. So it was an incredibly fun night of football and one that I won't forget for some time.
Hey, when you look at this game tonight, I mean, it was a closer, I think, than most of us expect, but did you learn something out of maybe Edmond Santa Fe that you didn't see from a West Side team this year?
I don't know that I have learned something necessarily. What I did was confirm something, and that is that they have some real talent at the skill position. I mean, the Shetron brothers, obviously, we knew how good they were. Both of them are committed to Oklahoma State. But Pfeiffer, that quarterback, can really throw the football. And that freshman running back they have, Robinson, is going to be the real deal. He can play some football, and it's going to be both fun to watch him grow and continue to improve. But as I continue to call Broken Arrow games, defenses because
there we go.
Nope, I'm back. Are you still there?
You pulled back
But
into your parking spot over there.
I was
no,
gonna.
now it's just T-Mobile messing with me at this point.
I was gonna follow up one question because it's funny. You said the one thing I always say about West Side schools when they go to East. You said the skill position. Does this look like another one of those West Side teams that can compete across the board with those bigger schools like Broken Arrow, Union, Jinx, in the skill position, but down inches? Is that kind of the problem that Edmond Santa Fe is going to run into, you think, in the future?
I think so, because Broken Arrow doesn't have just a ton of size up front. They've got a very good defense in front of the Tigers, but there's not a ton of size. They might have a little more of a problem running up against the Union or an Owasso, where they've got some real big kids up in the trenches that are making plays as well, because they're also athletic. But yeah, those skill guys, especially, I mean, Kalen Chetron is a machine. A dude's 6'3", 185. He looks more like he's about 205. That kid can ball.
All right, next up for Broken Arrow, Adam.
It's back on the road next week, going down to Norman. So yet another road game for the Tigers. It seems like I'm saying that twice a week for some reason this year.
Yeah.
But it's a trip back out west before they come home to finish off the regular season. So one more road tilt and trying to find out if this team will continue to take steps. This was a little bit of a tester tonight because we knew Santa Fe was better than the last couple of teams the Tigers had played. So the question was, will they continue to show that improvement? They did.
All right. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Adam Hildebrand, voice of the Broken Arrow Tigers.
Hey, Grant, that's very interesting when he's talking about Santa Fe. It's something that I preached out of all these years when the Union and Jinx had the big winning streak of state titles going. Across the board, so many times the West Side teams can compete skill position, but it's down in the trenches that usually catches up to them when they get in the playoffs against the East Side teams.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. The Rogers State University in-studio hotline. Tom Nelson, he got to watch Enid and Norman tonight. Tom, was this the night you were going to need grief counseling because it was senior night and you were walking Gabby?
Yes, that melancholy senior night experience as we walked to Gabby. Mom and Dad walked to Gabby down to the 50-yard line, and then there were some tears, mostly by Gabby and her senior cheerleaders. I think Mom and Dad were pretty stoic tonight, but I thought we did a pretty good job.
Well, I tell you, you posted something, or your wife posted about her earlier this week, and I did make sure everybody knew she was the official cheerleader of the Prep Sports postgame. And then I find out that some girl I went to high school with is like your wife's sister's sister-in-law. I mean, how Oklahoma is that?
That's exactly right. That's a Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas thing right there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Well, give us a rundown on Eden and Norman tonight.
Good ball game tonight. To start out that way, it looked for a while like, Enid's lost 5 of their last 6 after a 2-0 start. It looked like more of the same after Norman scored a couple of quick touchdowns early on. Quarterback Tyus McCoy, nice opening drive to take a 7-0 lead about 3 minutes in. Then they got Enid on a 3-and-out. They got the ball right back, and McClarty went 63 yards for a touchdown on the second play of the ensuing drive. And, it was 14-0, 5, 6, 7 minutes into the ball game, and it was one of those games that looked like it was going to be the snowball rolling downhill against the Plainsmen. But at that point, the Plainsmen came back, and they found a way to neutralize McClarty in the offense for Norman. They crawled back into the ball game, ended up Luke Rao, who scored 3 rushing touchdowns tonight. It was nice to have Luke back. He hadn't played much over the last 3 ball games, but he scored 3 touchdowns in the contest, and Enid led 19-14 in the fourth quarter, and they just had to get a couple of stops. They got 1 stop, but then they couldn't move the football. 3-and-out. They had to punt the ball back to Norman. Norman drove down a big play, got the ball down inside the 20-yard line, and Norman ends up scoring with 2:11 to play. McClarty goes in from 10 yards out and made it 22-19. They got the 2-point conversion to go up 22-19, and then Plainsman couldn't do anything with it. Norman held on and got the ball back and put 22-19. So a disappointing night. And Enid now, last home game tonight. They've got to go to Santa Fe next week and to Broken Arrow the week after that. So it's going to be a tough finish for them. Norman, not a whole lot better. They get to host Santa Fe Santa Fe in Week 10, but they've got a shot to get to the playoffs. But
I'm not too sure exactly what they have to do, but they will have to figure out some way to win one of those games, which is not going to be easy.
And your Martinez Agency Player of the Game, who's that tonight?
I'll give it to the quarterback, Tyus McClarty, for Norman, because when he was on, they were playing well. When Enid was able to contain him, that's when the Plainsmen got back into the ball game. But he had the last laugh in this one with the game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes and change left, so I will give it to him.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
You betcha. Looking forward to it.
There's Tom Nelson. Appreciate that. It's 10:24. Let's go on back to the Rogers State University in studio hotline. The great Bill Huddleston joins us from apparently sitting in the stands at Bixby tonight. Are you still in your spot there, Bill?
No, sir, not any longer. I'm in the warm confines of my Ford F-150 truck rolling down the highway. But speaking of rolling down the highway, the Bixby Spartans started fast and strong as they've done every time they play this season. Muskogee had the game's first possession and tried to hit a post pattern across the middle. Dylan has, the understudy brother of the hyped Luke has, with the pass interception. That gave Bixby the football to the 70 at the 25-yard line, and 3 plays later, it was Braylon Presley doing his magic, dancing his way on a pass reception, 56 yards, and that put Bixby up quickly 6-0 in the opening 2 minutes of play. And Bixby made it probably its only mistake in the first half where they failed on a 2-point conversion. Spartans would go on drive with just 45 seconds left to take a 49-0 halftime lead. First point of the night on a pass interception. Walker Newton picking off a pass and racing it 50 yards in the end zone for the big 6. But then Bixby, as you would expect, just bounced right back and put another touchdown on the board. From that point on, it was pretty much 2s and 3s against Muskogee, and the Rubbers did manage one more touchdown drive. They go 98 yards, 17 plays, but Jaden Bell on a 13-yard pass reception from Jamarian Ficklin. But 56-14 was the final score. Just too much muscle. Bixby is the real deal, and they pick up win number 44 off the 44 in a row now, and they're just 5 wins shy of setting that mark. And if they continue on to a state championship, they'll set a new 11-man all-time winning career streak at 49 games.
All right, next up for Muskogee, Bill.
Well, it gets a little easier, not much. Muskogee will move from the south side of the Tulsa Metroplex to the north side, S.C. Williams Stadium next Friday night against the Hornets of Tulsa, Washington. That's always a good battle, though, whenever Muskogee and Booker T get together, because they've got a history of competition and heated tradition between the two schools.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Bill.
Hey, I got to give a shout out.
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
Dylan has as the player of the game tonight. I mean, he got that first pass interception that sparked the offense, and then later on in the night, he had 2 pass receptions for touchdowns. So as far as my player of the game on this Friday night, Bixby Dylan Haas gets the award.
Martinez Agency Player of the Game, which I promptly forgot to add in this call. Sorry about that, Bill. Thank you for reminding me. And
I'm just hoping I'm inside next Friday.
I was going to say, you don't want to be outside many more weeks in Oklahoma.
No, you're right about that. All right, there you go. Bill Huddleston joining us from Okie Country, 101.7. Let's go up to KRDR Country, where Chris Ruwalt, the color commentator of the Alva Goldbugs, joins us. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry that Alva couldn't pull it out tonight against Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, fellas. It's kind of like when your mama catches you picking your nose in church. You know, you just kind of shrink away. There's just not a whole lot to say.
Yeah. Bring on basketball, maybe.
I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you. Ladybug's looking good this year.
Well, good. Well, give us a rundown. What happened tonight?
Well, we just, it's kind of the same old thing, Grant. I mean, we get down early. We got down 20-0, and we just don't have the ability to crawl back in it. We got a touchdown in the second quarter, and you're kind of thinking, okay, well, things break our way. We might be able to get back in this thing, but bad penalties and drop passes and blown coverages and missed tackles, and how much longer can I go on? I don't know. I mean, it's just it's frustrating, and everybody's frustrated. So,
well, who is your Martinez Agency Player of the Game tonight?
Well, Hennessy's got a big old running back named Kreitz, and Grant, you ought to see the kid. I mean, he's about an order of biscuits and gravy away from playing offensive guard. I mean, he's a big kid, but he's fast.
Right.
And he had a 77-yard touchdown run, and then the other Hennessy Eagle that really caught us was Sebastian Gonzalez, their quarterback, who threw for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So we'd probably have to split it between the two of them.
On a night that Alva needs hope, we will remind you can find it at First Baptist Church of Alva coming up on Sunday morning. So,
hey, there you go.
Chris Ruwalt, also the pastor of First Baptist Church, so we throw that in every week.
Indeed.
Talk to you next week, buddy. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Y'all have a good one.
All right, more of the Prep Sports post game straight ahead on the Game Day Oklahoma Network.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Let's face it, high school and college sports have changed, and if you plan on taking your talents to the next level, marketing is the name of the game. That is where the Martinez Agency comes in. The Martinez Agency is one of the fastest growing sports marketing firm in the region and can help you set up marketing avenues for your athlete. From player websites to navigating the ever-changing rules of name, imaging, and likeness to generating sponsorship dollars, the Martinez Agency does it all. Athletes, it is time to share your brand story. Log on to martinez-agency.com and find out how today.
If you're a coach or athletic director, this message is for you. Legacy Entertainment has provided light and sound for Oklahoma's hottest concerts for years, but now they're helping schools just like yours elevate their game day atmosphere. From providing light and sound systems to coordinating your team's run-through with fog machines and the hottest elements out there, they'll make sure Friday nights are never the same again. They've helped schools like OU, and they'll help you too. Check them out at legacyllc.net. Legacy Entertainment, where every day is game day.
As the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at Amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
The Choctaw have always been guardians of our tribal members and neighbors near and far. From the Tushka that defended our villages to aid given to the Irish during the potato famine. Today, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma guards the well-being of our communities through a network of health initiatives. We protect Oklahoma through our disaster response team, and we preserve our heritage through cultural activities. Together, we're there for our members and neighbors, because together, we're more.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. I'm not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hi, this is Kelly Gregg. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biological therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, no surgery. Call now to schedule a free consultation at QC Kinetics. Tired of dealing with joint pain and you want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biological therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 405-289-9662. That's 405-289-9662.
Cohiba Lounge is Norman's premier cigar and whiskey lounge. Enjoy a fine tobacco product with one of their extensive craft or import beer selections, or indulge in a specialty cocktail, single malt scotch, bourbon, or whiskey in a fun, relaxed adult atmosphere. Cohiba Lounge is the franchise's home for football games with comfortable seating indoors and outdoors. There's no better place to unwind. The Cohiba Lounge and Humidor open 10 a.m. to midnight. 105 Boyd Street in Norman.
Back here on the Prep Sports Postgame across the great state of Oklahoma, Grant Merrill, Randy Heights. Big Ben Welch has made his way into the studio tonight. Hit that on button there. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How are you? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. Hey, I just found out Ben was an intern of mine.
Yeah.
It's no offense, Ben, but I've been in the business a while, and it's crazy to think that was 2009.
Yeah, that was
people through the doors.
Big timer over here is like, who? What?
definitely a long time ago, but it was a lot of fun. Kind of cut my teeth there at the Sports Animal there back in the day. I know we're not, I mean, kind of rivals now with the franchise, but
you broke your teeth with me in a while. We're all good.
We all have resumes.
Yeah.
So. All right, I want everybody to look at that camera and wave real quick.
Hi, guys.
My 4 nieces are watching. Lena, Isabel, Emma, and Abby, and my daughter Molly. They're all watching us on Squirtle tonight.
They're
so
in
hi,
Kansas
girls.
City. Hey,
go to bed.
I wish
at
I was
some
in
point.
Kansas City.
Well, we'd be eating barbecue. I can promise you
or
that.
I might be at the Ameristar, one of the other.
Probably so. We know you. All right, back to the phone lines we go. The great Brent Kellogg joins us as Oologah. Well, they took their licks with Wagner tonight. How are you, Brent?
Well, hey, I'm hurting a little bit. To be honest with you, I know I'm talking to some radio guys. There was a time I tried to do TV, but they kept telling me I had a face made for radio, and I just didn't understand what the thing was, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm watching myself on TV right now because our show's on Cox, and I still have a face made for radio. So nothing's changed on this end.
You know, the Oologah-Wagner game has just been a rivalry. Like, they started showing up on the Oologah schedule back in 2002, 2003. It probably made this game a rivalry was 2014, 15, and 16. Both of those teams coming out of grade 3 met back at the state championship game. And every once in a while, Oologah can reach up and punch Wagner, but Del Con and his team have just built an incredible program over there tonight. I knew Oologah had to play perfect tonight, and I knew Wagner was going to have to give us some mistakes, and they just didn't. I mean, it was just a tough night. 52-0, Wagner on top. Their quarterback, Gabe Rodriguez, of course, his brother is one of the best defenders in NCAA football, Malcolm Rodriguez over at Oklahoma State. And so, you know, if I got to do a player of the game, I'm probably going to go with the band tonight, if I could just do that.
The Martinez Agency Player of the Game, first tier tuba section.
Tuba section. Yeah, it was kind of a rough night. No, obviously for Wagner, their quarterback, Gabe Rodriguez, he's a special player. I think you'll see him on some Saturdays. For Oologah, our defense did pretty good for the first quarter and a half, and then the wheels just kind of came off. And, you know, once you're playing from behind, momentum just kind of slips out of your hand. But I would like to give a shout-out to Patrick Miller, one of our linebackers. We called his name a lot tonight. So,
all right, next up for Oologah, who you guys have?
So next week, we're on the road at Cleveland. We need some help to get in the playoffs, but we've obviously got to run that table to get out. I think a game that's interesting to watch next week is Wagner and Grove. Grove has just steamrolled everybody. They're in that top spot in our district. And so that game's at Grove next week, too. So just another fun game. Hey, I appreciate you guys and what you're doing. Everywhere I talk to folks, they love tuning in and listening to the radio show. So thank you guys.
Outstanding. Perfect. Well, thank you, Brent. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right. There you go with the Oologah Mustangs. Okay, next up, let's go to Owasso, where tonight, kind of the shocker, Mustang ended up being up 47-28 at one point in the ball game. Owasso tried to mount a comeback. Final score, Mustang 47, Owasso 41. Jared Gallagher joining us, and man, that's not something we're used to hearing, sir.
No, that is, I believe, just the second loss in the last 30 matchups for Owasso here at Owasso Stadium. So, yeah, you know, what we expected was an offensive battle, and that's two of the highest scoring teams in Class A1, and that's what it ended up being. But you know, credit to Mustang, they came out and fought and kicked Owasso in the teeth pretty good there early on, and then Owasso made a valiant effort in the fourth quarter and just came up a little bit short.
Well, who is our Martinez Agency Player of the Game tonight?
Well, I think we'll have to give that to Jacoby Johnson of Mustang. He was an absolute stud all over tonight. He ended up scoring a few touchdowns. He had an game-sealing interception at the end of the night. And so we'll credit Jacoby Johnson with that.
All right. Next up for Owasso, who we got?
Well, I'm on a flight to Charleston in the morning, but I think we're at Moore next week. I got to look at the schedule and double check that, but I think we're at Moore next week and then at Putnam City the week after that. So
that sounds about right. That's usually the Owasso schedule. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, and of course you're going to be watching OSU and Iowa, I'm sure. So
I will wedding, but it will be on my phone as I'm sitting in the back row, I'm sure.
Dude, you got to talk to your friends about. I'm going to have to give them my speech on Saturday weddings in the fall. That just.
I know. You're telling me.
All right. Weddings in the fall in general, guys, that's a no-go.
Or just don't get married.
I've already told my family, don't get married and don't die in the fall because I'm not coming.
All right, Jared, I say this to a newlywed, Jared Gallagher, don't get married.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate that very much.
All right, we'll see you next week. Jared Gallagher.
All right, bye-bye.
He's, of course, the voice of the Wasso Rams in the PA and the color commentator on Away Radio games.
Did you happen to notice a theme there? His player of the game, Jacoby Jones, Mustang, another great skill player from the West Side. You don't hear about a lot of the guys in the trenches, and that's, again, we talked about it in the first report we had tonight, Grant. It's the problem the West Side has. When it gets into a numbers game, it seems like the numbers always come up short in the trenches.
Yep, absolutely. It's 10:40 tonight. We will, of course, have all of our guests coming up. I know we're talking to Will Jones up at Garber here in the next few minutes, and I think Night Train Lane's about to join us from Booker T. We will go to Class C scores here in a few. We're all of Class B, I believe, and we will tell you that we had Blue Jacket beating Medford tonight, 56-18. Midway over Graham Dustin, 64-8. Boise City beats Geary tonight, 48-0. Waynoka over Corn Bible. I think that one was over at the half, 46-0. It was Sharon Mutual over Beaver, 60-12. Temple over Ryan, 48-18. Welch ends up beating Copan 66-20. Mountain View Godebo over Fox today 68-6. Timberlake over Wesley and Christian 60-8. Tyrone over Buffalo 21-0. It was Oaks over Coyle 28-12. Deer Creek Lamont over South Coffeyville 28-14. Thackerville over Granfield 49-0. So there you go. All right, let's see here. Do we have Night Train on the? We do not have Night Train Lane. Night Train Lane is out partying on that Booker T win tonight, apparently.
Hey, yeah, I mean, and they had a big week this week. Gentry Williams, of course, or not Gentry, but Williams deciding where he was going to school, which is kind of funny. I'm pretty sure last time we had Night Train on about a month ago, he kind of let that slip because I looked at you and I'm like, wait, he just called him an Oklahoma product.
Yeah,
maybe he lets more secrets slip tonight. We'll see.
He sure did. He'll be our official mole up at Booker T, Washington, apparently.
Exactly.
All right, let's go up north to Garber, a man who serves as both superintendent of schools, was the basketball coach, now the color commentator on the Garber Wolverine broadcast. Will Jones, I won't ask you which one you enjoy the most. I won't put you on the spot like that, but we appreciate you joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. When you work at a small school, sometimes you wear a lot of hats.
You probably sweep the floors every once in a while, too, I'm guessing.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about that.
Well, how about those Wolverines tonight? Big win over Porter Consolidated.
Over Covington Douglas.
Over Covington Douglas. I'm sorry. Wrong side of the state. Wrong side of the state.
Yeah. I know where Porter is.
Yeah.
But, how about those Wolverines? Huge win. Really just a great year at Garber. Honored an old legendary football coach, Ted Bentz. Won a state championship in '98. We had all kinds of alumni come back for that. Packed house rivalry game. And Wolverines were able to squeak out an 8-point win in a huge game. It was big district implications and playoff implications.
Well, Coach, who would be your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
Ty Dante Chester. The senior had 4 touchdowns tonight. 6'3", 215, running back, linebacker. Got a couple of Division II offers. He really stepped up in a big way and got us over the top tonight.
All right. Next up for Garber, who do you have next week?
Next week we travel to Barnesdall, and as I said, that tonight's win was huge. District playoff or with playoff implications, puts us in the driver's seat to be second place in our district after we dropped a game to Pioneer, and so just everybody in Garber to get this win here tonight.
We're about to start basketball season. Are you missing it yet?
No, not yet. And the plan is to just keep football season going.
There you go.
For a really, really long time as well this season.
Well, we wish the Garber Wolverines the best. And of course, you could watch them on Squirtle TV every week, where you'll be doing the color commentary. Hey, Will, thank you for being with us tonight.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
All right, Will Jones up at Garber, superintendent of schools, and also the color commentator on the Wolverine broadcast.
And yet again, that's great. He gave a district standing update, and that's what makes the scoreboard show fun late in the season.
Hey, we told Eric King that he's going to have like a mathematics degree by next week.
Next week it starts
figuring this stuff up.
He doesn't realize the following week we want the bracket mostly filled out before the show starts.
Absolutely. We'll be in here like doing a planning meeting at 6 o'clock.
I think he just called in sick already for 2 weeks down the road.
Speaking of a person who's calling a team on top of the district standings, the great Ben Buckland joins us from KALV 1430 and 99.5, a fine affiliate of this show, where he called the Winoka Railroaders tonight. And you guys still getting big wins, 46-0. Was it over by halftime, Ben?
Yeah, it was. It was. The Corn Bible Academy in town, and they never gave up. Those kids just, I mean, there's 10 guys out for football, and one of them's hurt. So, you got 8 people on the field, and you got this one substitute beside you, coach, if you need it. Yeah. So it was a tough evening, no doubt, but tip your hat to Corn Bible Academy. They made the trip. They played as hard as they could possibly play, and it was over at halftime. The Railroaders go to Buffalo next week, and then wrap it up at home with Tyrone.
Do you feel like Buffalo or Tyrone could stop Winoka at this point, or could you guys have an undefeated season?
I don't know anything about Tyrone, though I think you do. You've kept track of them, kind of, haven't you?
Yeah, we've kept track a little bit. Yeah, I mean they're a good team, but we'll have to look at the district standings and let you know exactly where that stands here in a minute. But yeah,
Buffalo, I understand, has good size, and over the years, the Buffalo Winoka has been a bit of a rivalry. I don't know if they've got that thing rekindled or not, or if this bunch is aware of it, but there's been some really close contests played over the years between the two.
I forgot to ask you, who's your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight, Ben?
A little bit unusual. I'm going to go with a freshman, Landon Seeger, both sides of the ball. Intercepted a couple of passes, stopped a deep drive, and scored a couple of times. Landon Seeger, number 36. Great game.
We'll be watching it. Brother, appreciate you. Drive safely tonight on your way into the big city.
Listening to you all the way.
Well,
Great job. See you later.
We'll try not to put you to sleep. So there you go. All right. Hang with us. When we come back, Justin Pettit joins us from Eastern Oklahoma. We'll talk to him about Sallisaw Central tonight and Porter Consolidated. It's the Prep Sports Post Game on the Game Day Oklahoma Network.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
The Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization. There's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at PikePass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at Amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
The franchise. Case & Associates is known for an amazing place to live. But did you know that working for Case & Associates is amazing too? Case & Associates is accepting applications right now. Positions needed are painters and maintenance assistants. Part-time and full-time positions are available with flexible schedules and competitive wages. Receive benefits like 401k, paid time off, health, vision, and dental. What are you waiting for? Visit Mission Point Apartments and more or Stone Crossing Apartments on North Main north of Memorial.
Looking for a family-friendly food option that has something for everyone? Qdoba is the answer. Qdoba is a proud sponsor of the franchise high school game of the week. And whether you want a burrito stuffed with steak or you want a bowl filled with cilantro, lime rice, and black beans, Qdoba has you covered. Ask them about catering. They can take care of you from a small group of friends with chips and queso to major events. Remember, fast, friendly, and fresh. Qdoba on 1300 West Covell in Edmond is the place to go.
See you later, darling. I'm heading out to Central New Holland.
Not today, George. Remember, we have plans.
Yeah, I'm going out there to Central New Holland, West I-40, Council Exit, South Service Road. And I'm going to pick up some parts and drop the baler off for a tune-up.
Why don't you do it online at centralnewholland.net?
Well, because picking up parts is a lot more fun in person. And as for service, well, you can't email a baler, darling. Did you know that Central New Holland has serviced everything we've ever bought there? New Holland tractors, balers, skid steers, with genuine New Holland service and genuine New Holland parts.
Soon as we finish renewing our vows.
Our vows? I thought we just did that.
We did, George, but remember you failed the emissions test?
Well, darling, I'm sure that happens a lot.
Not in the middle of the ceremony. For crying out loud, they had to evacuate the building.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
When the job is on the line, Central is a friend of
mine. Back here on the Prep Sports Postgame across the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Grant Merrill. He is Randy Heights. Back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline we go, where Justin Pettit's waiting from the Mix 105.1 in Sallisaw tonight. He had the call of Sallisaw Central and Porter Consolidated. Did I get that right, Justin?
That is correct, Grant. And it was a great game in the shadow of Hanson Mountain just outside of Sallisaw. As Porter came to town and went home with a 32-24 victory. Central has a young team, and it kind of showed tonight. They'd make one good play and then have a bad play. They were in third and forever, it seemed like, all night long. Had a halftime lead of 12-7, but Porter, give him credit. Caden Willard, the quarterback, had over 100 yards passing. Then had a couple of running backs, Camden Price and Caleb Brewer, each go over 100 yards rushing. And Central did all they could. Coy Clifton had 30 carries, over 100 yards and a touchdown. But Porter still alive in Class A8 for a playoff spot. Central, they're gonna need a lot of help if they want to make the postseason.
Give us your Martinez Agency Player of the Game tonight. Who you got?
We'll go with Caden Willard of Porter. The young man played quarterback. He was the kicker. He was the punter. He played on defense. I don't think the young man left the field. And I know he had well over 100 yards passing and several tackles. And just a great game on the road for that young man.
That's just incredible, Justin. I mean, when you talk about guys like that in the small school, see when they get out there and they basically don't leave the field. It's incredible to see guys out there every play of a game.
Yeah, you see that, and when you're down in Class A, there'll be a turnover on downs, and nobody leaves the field. They just basically one goes back on the offense, defense, and neither one of these teams had more than 13 players play all night long. And hats off to all those young men out there. It was a hard-fought game. It came down. Central had a drive late, and they were down by 8, and just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. But again, Coach Thompson, they have a young group there. There's a lot of young players, and they're going to learn from this, and they're going to be better as the years go on.
For those of you not familiar with Justin's work, he's kind of like a nomad. He just goes from stadium to stadium every week, and we never really know where he's going to be. But since you do call so many of those different teams, how's this Eastern Oklahoma playoff implications look for you? I mean, we're starting to get to where you've got some teams that may surprise some people this year.
I think the one team everybody needs to keep an eye on is in Class A, District 8, but it's not Central. It's the Gore Pirates. Coach Brandon Tyler, of course, was at Vian for years. Left for a year, came back to Gore, and that team won no games for 2 years.
Yeah,
he has completely turned them around, and they are. I know in Class A, it's Ringland, it's Cashion, everybody's talking about it, but I'm telling you, you better not sleep on the Gore Pirates. They are destroying teams, and they have not lost. It hasn't even been close. They're putting 70 points up. And here's the scary part. They got one senior. So they're good this year. They're going to be even better next year. Of course, Vian is here. Spiro's fighting for, and Roland are fighting for playoff spots. We got a lot of teams that we cover, but I'm telling you, Gore, you better watch out in Class A. I know they don't get a lot of publicity being on this part of the state in the smaller school, but Coach Tyler and the Gore Pirates are really good, and they're going to make a run at that gold ball in Class A.
Justin, where's the mixed microphone headed next week? Do we know yet?
I think we are going to be in Roland as the Rangers, again, fighting for a playoff spot, but they got a tough one. It's a must-win as Cassia Hall comes to town. That District 2A5, Vian's in the driver's seat. Cassia Hall's kind of in second, but then you got Pecola, Spiro, Keys, and Roland all battling for those final 2 spots. So I think we're going to be in Roland as Cassia Hall comes to town.
All right, brother. Appreciate being on with us tonight.
You got it, guys. Appreciate it as always.
Justin Pettit, the play-by-play voice of the Mix 105.1 Game of the Week out of Sallisaw tonight. All right, Big Ben Welch, voice of Tonkawa, in the studio tonight. He pulled up in the Bull 104.7 van. I think it does actually have a bull on the side of it. Does it not? I mean,
yeah, it does. We call that
that seriously up there, right?
We do indeed. That's we call that the Pizza Hut Cruiser. I mean, it takes me wherever I need to go. So
there you go.
And tonight it took me to Hinton.
You get a lot of funny looks driving a station vehicle through the great state of Oklahoma. I mean, people kind of want to be near you.
That, no, a lot of people, like, we have the 2 big Pizza Hut magnets on each door, so everybody's like, "Oh, the pizza guy's here," but no, I don't have any pizza.
They're looking for the delivery, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
You could kind of moonlight. You've already got, if you needed some extra money, you've already got the Pizza Hut decals. If you needed to just go out and make some deliveries, so
no, might have to clear that there with management. They're back at the Bull.
Let's talk about Tonkawa tonight. You guys were in Hinton.
Yeah, we took on the Hinton Comets. Of course, huge matchup in District A3. Of course, Tonkawa wins. They guaranteed a home playoff game, but that they want more than that. So, and that sets up a game of epic proportions. Next week, we'll talk about that after I do the recap of the game here. Buccaneers defense, I'm telling you, hear me every week, just give hype to that Buccaneer defense. And again, for good reason, Tonkawa wins the coin toss, puts their defense out, do a 3-out. However, the offense got off to a bit of a low start. Second play of the game, little communication between the tailback and the quarterback, had a fumble. So Hinton gets the ball back, and Hinton control offense. They're going to 3-yard you, pound you to death, not give you the ball. But the Buccaneer defense made a stand. And then on the Bucs' second drive of the game, they get their opening lead, and they never looked back after that.
Wow. Martinez, agency player of the game. Who's that tonight?
My Martinez player of the game is going to junior tailback, the transfer over over Ponca City, Cam Jackson. Get used to hearing his name a lot. Last week, 200, well over 200 yards this week. Again, I believe he had 17 carries for, give me 1 second here.
I just want to point out to this point, he has done this without notes from memory.
Exactly. It's all I'm right there with you. I'm like, all right, he's just throwing it all out there. It's impressive.
So 19 carries, 231 yards.
That's a night.
And 3 touchdowns for the junior tailback, and then also starting to play a little bit on the defensive side. Of course, usually 6A schools there. We came from Ponca City. Not used to playing two-way, but, he's playing small class of football. You're expected to play both sides, and he's really embraced that. And he says, I interviewed him for my pregame show today, and he said, whatever the team needs, I'm here for. I just want to make us better and compete for a state championship this year.
All right, Big Ben Welch, voice of Tonka. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
KRXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite station for sports. Tonight, in every part of our state, the games have been played and champions are being made. And we're covering every single matchup from GameDayOklahoma.com. This is the Prep Sports Postgame, presented by Aspen Health and Rehab. We're taking you all the way up to midnight as we check in with the state's leading coaches and broadcasters for reports on tonight's game. The Prep Sports Postgame is also brought to you by
Pike Pass and the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, Billy Sims Barbecue, Rogers State University, Pioneer Cellular, NES, Oklahoma's #1 choice for Epson quality office products, by the Martinez Agency, the Cherokee Nation, Legacy Entertainment LLC, Diesel Horse Sports and Orthopedics, and by the Scoredle app, Oklahoma's source for real-time scores.
From Boise City to Broken Bow, from Miami to Mangum, here's Grant Merrill and Randy Heights as the Prep Sports Postgame starts now.
Hour number 2 of the Prep Sports Postgame on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. I'm Grant Merrill. He is Randy Heights. Thank you for being with us tonight as we take a look at scores and playoff implications and district standings from across the state this evening. And Randy, of course, we talked earlier, some surprises tonight. We're getting a lot of information, and we're really kind of getting down to the cutting time on
it really is. And we've heard a lot of our guys give updates and really about, hey, this is a playoff game. Next week sets up this or that. So it's been pretty impressive as we get through the season, starting to see teams that, I'm not going to say you don't want to play out your last 2 weeks, but teams that really have something to play for and really teams that are going to be spoilers over the next couple of weeks.
All right, back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline. A guy who probably have to worry about his team making the playoffs. That would be Bryson Colwell,
I think they're safe.
Voice of the Ardmore Tigers. How are you, sir?
We're having fun in Ardmore tonight, guys.
I bet you are. By the way, just give me a yes or no on this question. How was the assignment in your truck tonight? Did you get what I needed?
You know what? Cody and I'm sitting on my porch, guys. I'm alone right now. Cody actually wasn't with me tonight.
Oh, no. Okay, well, we'll talk later. Give us a rundown on Ardmore and El Reno tonight.
Ardmore Tigers came out firing, man. I know El Reno, Coach Atchison, got to give a shout out to him. They're some of the nicest coaches I've got to interact with in all of my years. And the Tigers, they were able to get all of their skill guys working. Last week, I didn't mention it, but all 5 of their skill guys had a touchdown last week. And tonight, Dakari Scott, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Martinez, agency player of the game. He had 3 touchdowns total on the game, 1 receiving. I think it was a 15-yard touchdown, and then 2 pick sixes, back-to-back defensive plays. I mean, pick 6 kickoff, next pick 6 kickoff. And I think he accounted for 90 yards or something like that on both those returns.
Wow. Well, that's quite a night for him. And Ardmore, who do you guys have for the remaining 2 weeks of the regular season?
So I talked to head coach Jeff Newby after the ball game. Actually before the ball game, and we talked about it. He's kind of called the rest of the season a meat grinder, and Ardmore controls their own destiny. They win out and they get the first seed. If they lose at some point, they may not get a home playoff game. We got Noble, the 6-2 Noble somethings coming to us next week.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you then. Appreciate you being on with us tonight.
Thanks so much, Grant Reddy.
All right. Bryson Colwell joining us tonight with the services of Cody Steele.
I know. We usually get the handoff.
Yeah, we get the handoff. Sometimes they call us on three-way.
Exactly.
It's like sixth grade all over again.
Who wasn't involved in those calls as a kid?
I think there was one time in Russellville, Arkansas, we put like 33 people on one phone call and
I've been there. I was
shut
there.
down the phone system.
Yeah, I've been there. In Moore, Oklahoma, back in the day.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. Big game tonight between Choctaw and Sand Springs this evening. And, of course, David Dooley was there to cover it for the Choctaw Yellow Jackets. Choctaw wins 41-28. Sand Springs on a 3-game losing skid, David, and your Choctaw Yellow Jackets getting it done.
Well, they did tonight, and this was a pretty pivotal matchup for playoff standings in that by winning, Choctaw is actually in the bird's eye view of the second seed, of course, behind Bixby, with Choctaw having Putnam City West and Bartlesville left. They will finish second in the district, so they're kind of looking across the board as the playoff comes to see who the matchup might be. But it was a tougher game than what Choctaw expected tonight. Choctaw got the opening kickoff and marked 68 yards to score, but on the ensuing kickoff, Sand Springs went 90 yards. Choctaw missing their extra point. Sand Springs makes it, and so first quarter, Sand Springs up 7-6. But Yellow Jackets settled down to the defense and gave up one more touchdown in the first half when they had a ball snapped over the punter's head, and Sand Springs recovered on the 3-yard line and took it in. First half score was 28-14, and Yellow Jackets score again in the second half, 34-14, and thought they were on coasting, but Sand Springs scored 2 of their next 3 possessions, and with 4:10 left in the game, it was a 6-point game. It was 34 to 27. Sand Springs gets the onside kick, and Choctaw makes a defense and gets the ball back and scores with 2 minutes left to make this final score of 41-28. But a lot closer than that.
No, sorry. Choctaw bounces back 2 straight victories. What's kind of the coach's staff feel after the bounce back victories after that tough loss to Bixby? How do they feel things are progressing as we move towards the end of the season?
Well, it was a good. They came together. They played 2 tough teams in Muskogee and Sand Springs, and getting it together, heading towards playoffs. They're building, and of course, you just have to put that loss to Bixby in the back of your mind and move on forward. Nothing you can do about that. Bixby's as good as what everybody says, and your only hope is that you get to meet them again, win, lose, or draw. But that would be for the state title, and that's what you're playing for at this time.
All right, next up for Choctaw,
we have senior night at home against Putnam City West next Friday night, and then we'll close out going to Bartlesville.
All right. Well, Mr. Dew, thank you for being in with us tonight. We will talk to you next week.
All right. You want my player of the game?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm
all right. I thought you didn't want to leave Martinez out of this conversation.
I'm going to end up owing them money before the night's over. So.
Absolutely. Well, my player of the game would be defensive end Deshaun Brown. After the score was 6-point difference, he sacked the quarterback twice, and he just had a tremendous night putting pressure on the quarterback all night long. My other guy was going to be Latrell Ray. He scored on a 40-yard touchdown and a 61-yard touchdown, but the defense sealed it late and gave the ball back to the Yellow Jackets. So Deshaun Brown, player of the game.
All right. Thank you, sir. Talk to you next week. Appreciate you being on with us here on the Prep Sports Post Game. It is 11:08. Back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline we go, where Tony Lugnut Wilson is waiting as Chandler beats Meeker tonight, 48-16. Lugnut, how are you?
Hi, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Give us some pizza man news.
What do you want?
I'll
give it to you. I got whatever you want.
Give us your game recap tonight. What happened with this, Lugnut?
Well, we go to Meeker, in Lincoln County rival here, and they're pretty down as far as they've had a tough season this year, and it just continued for them tonight as the Lions come to town. And it was a Casman Hill show tonight. Didn't really have that much of a need to throw the football, and Casman had a big night. Probably, I don't know his final numbers, but I bet he's probably in the 225 range, somewhere in that vicinity. But our main goal was to try to get out to a big lead and get some of our young kids in, get them some work, and that's basically what we did. We had 28-0 at halftime and ended up 48-16, and our kids come out after basically the first series of the second half. Caden Jones, he's, superstar quarterback, and pretty easy when you turn around and hand it to number 10 wearing a lion on his helmet, because he's, boys, I'm telling you right now, he's as good as Build. I mean, he's pretty phenomenal. But so I know you guys were talking about the abacus needed there in the opening segments of the show. But if you find a district that's any more crazy than mine, then I'd sure love to know it. 2A2 is there's going to be 3 teams at 5-1 going into week 10, guys. Jones, Jones only have 1 loss. We'll have 1 loss, hopefully, if we take care of Kellyville next week here at Joe Telford Field. And then Crossings Christian will have 1 loss most likely. Is I believe Jones Prague next week. That'll be a big game, and we'll see how that turns out. But and here's the crazy part is, you talk about perennial powers. The team that in 2A that you figure they play the toughest schedule is Millwood. They're going to be at home, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see Millwood making the playoffs.
It's an unusual year, man. That's why when you guys beat them last week, I was not surprised you guys won, but just that's really sending Millwood reeling, it seems like.
Yeah, Randy, I mean, our defense, the coaching staff, and I talked about this last week, is they just did such a phenomenal job of planning and gaming and getting our kids game ready. And to see that, if you tell me that we hold Millwood to 43 yards offense,
yeah,
I tell you, I got some land to sell you somewhere in the Mojave Desert that's got water with it. I mean, but our kids are buying in, and we're just, got a couple still banged up, but these 2 next weeks are healing weeks for us. We're not really worried about them playing right now, and no disrespect to the other teams, but, the other 2 teams we played tonight and, next week in Kellyville. But
and that's what happens this time of year. Grant knows it. I know it. You know it from covering high school football. You get into these weeks where teams are eliminated. They struggle to start the year, and motivation for some of these kids, because especially when you get to the smaller levels, guys, is you get some of these kids that play multiple sports, and if it's not going to be their year to make playoffs in football, they start looking ahead towards basketball, because at the smaller level, how many are 1-sport stars in those smaller levels?
Absolutely. Not very many. Tony? I mean, our kids will be on their way going everywhere else, but if I had to give a player the game night, it'd be Casman Hill. I mean, he's that good. So.
All right, buddy. Up against a break.
Thanks, guys.
Being with us.
Have a good night.
Tony
Appreciate
Wilson from Chandler, back after this.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at AspenHealthRehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
When Oklahoma companies need a copier, they NES. NES has an exciting new partnership that is saving clients time and money. Owner Eddie Silkey is here to tell us more about the Epson difference.
They have come up with a patented technology called Precision Core. It's a heat-free technology. It's affordable. It is easy to use. From a service perspective, very few parts that need to be replaced. It's a simple device.
Find out more by calling 918-665-5502 today.
Skortle, Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Bruce Skortle not only sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules. They can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out the league, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Scoredle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Scoredle.
107.7 The Franchise.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-317-5082. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-317-5082 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-317-5082 to see if you qualify. That's 800-317-5082.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Connect. Hey, it's Kelly Gregg here. I'm talking about new therapies, that all-natural regenerative treatments that can not only give you relief, but also restore, repair damaged tissue, so you have that lasting relief. If you got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, just don't think of the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways of dealing with it. You need to learn more about these new biological therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation at QC Kinetics. These are remarkable new treatments that increase your mobility, decrease pain, help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 405-289-9662. That's 405-289-9662.
Back here on the Prep Sports Post Game on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. Grant Merrill, Randy Heights along with you on great radio stations across the state. It is 11:16. Appreciate you being with us wherever you are in our fabulous state. All right, back to the phone lines we go. Big game tonight between Anadarko and Heritage Hall. Seth Crowder had the call on New Country 98.5 out of Lawton, KACO. Seth, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Good, man.
Tell us about Anadarko. How'd that turn out for you?
Well, Anadarko, they came in tonight winning 3 straight, but they ran into the buzzsaw that is number 3 in undefeated Heritage Hall. But the first quarter pretty much sums up the game. The Chargers, they scored on 3 straight possessions, and each touchdown was 60-plus yards or more in the opening quarter. It was 28-0 at the end of one. And Warriors running back Lucas Kemp, he scored Anadarko's lonely touchdown in the second quarter. The halftime score was 45-6 in favor of Heritage Hall. But in the second half, the Chargers, they put in their subs. Anadarko scored 2 touchdowns, but they actually didn't allow another point from the Chargers. So I give them credit for that. But the final score on senior night at home for Anadarko, Heritage Hall 45, Anadarko 22.
Seth, who's your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
Heritage Hall senior receiver Gavin Freeman. That dude is a stud. There's why he has the offers, but he actually had 2 rushing touchdowns, 67 and a 62-yarder. He was all over the field tonight.
All right. Go next up for Anadarko. Who you guys have next week?
At Mount St. Mary, and then they finish off the season at Kingfisher.
So playoff, are they? I haven't got to look at the district standings. What's it look like district-wise for Anadarko?
Randy, at the beginning of the night, they were tied for 3rd place, but it's actually, man, it's going to be really tough for them to make it this year. Heritage Hall, they're just a beast this year, undefeated.
No doubt.
All right. We'll talk to you next week, Seth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. Our Rogers State University in-studio hotline where the great Preston Poole stands by. He had Blanchard football this evening down on Cool 105.5 in Chickasha. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Got to spend the evening with Mr. TV and Sean Thurman.
I'm sorry.
A good evening.
Wow. Well, what short stick did you draw?
I don't know, but we all got crammed into the press box over there in Cushing, and kind of a game that's not the game we expected, at least, between those two teams, that's for sure.
Well, tell us a little more about the details.
Yeah, so, I mean, both quarterbacks going into the game, two of the best passers in 4A, and they really were just throwing it to whoever wanted to catch the ball tonight. I think each quarterback had at least 3 turnovers. So not really outstanding performances from Blaze Berlowitz and Carson Cooksey tonight. But Blanchard finally got the run game going and established a little bit late in the game, and it looked like they were going to try and come back and tie things up. But unfortunately, they just fell short and ended up losing, 27-13.
Who's your Martinez Agency player of the game? Did I already ask you that? No, I
did not.
Okay.
And, as good as the two quarterbacks have been all season, I'm going to have to go with Cushing running back Noah Jones. He busted a few big, long runs and had 2 rushing touchdowns tonight for the Tigers.
Perfect. Next up for Blanchard.
Blanchard going to have another top opponent in 4A2 this week, or next week, excuse me, as they take on Hara at senior night in Blanchard before that big Tri-City matchup to end the season at Tuttle.
All right. Well, we will talk to you next week, Seth. Thank you.
Sounds good. You guys have a good one.
I'm sorry, Preston. I'm telling you, all these are running together. It's been a late night. Preston Poole, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. All right. Next up, I will get this name right. Buck Ringgold with Scorebook Live. How are you, sir?
Doing wonderful, Grant. How are you doing?
Well, I read your tweet earlier, your Facebook status, that you were actually getting your exercise in. Your form of exercise tonight was running the steps at Doc Wadley Stadium in Tahlequah.
Yes, and I had to do it twice, going up there before the game and then going down for interviews and then coming back up to finish my story.
Well,
so
I saw Justin Pettit chime in. He said he thought there were 77 rows of steps to walk between the ground and the press box there.
I counted going down the steps. I counted 92 steps, and then I was able to go back down a ramp on my way out of the stadium.
We just need to stick with the press boxes with elevators for guys our age, Buck. I'm telling you. Well,
yes.
Give us a rundown on Tahlequah and Glenpool tonight.
Well, tonight it was all Tigers as they prevailed 47-13. The Tigers scored on all 4 of their offensive possessions in the first half, and they ended up scoring touchdowns on 7 of their 8 possessions for the entire game.
Who is your Martinez Agency player of the game for Tahlequah tonight?
Well, it was a tough call because Tyler Joyce, the quarterback, had a good night, throwing for 2 touchdowns and running for another. But I'm going to give it to the senior tailback, Malik McMurtry. He had 116 yards on 18 carries. He scored 3 touchdowns rushing, and then he caught a 39-yard swing pass and went down the sideline. So he had 4 touchdowns total on the night.
Buck, I'm going to switch gears for just a second. You got a chance to cover the state volleyball championships earlier this week for Scorebook Live. Got to watch some pretty good games up at Verdigris and Catoosa.
Absolutely. I was there actually just for the 5A and the 6A championships on Tuesday. I saw 2 tremendous matches. You know, Mount St. Mary's won it in 5A, and then Jenks was down 2 sets to 1 to Norman North in the 6A final, and they rallied to win it in 5 sets. So great match there. Just tremendous amount of volleyball all around.
Well, I tell you, Mount St. Mary's, of course, my wife is the head coach at Tulsa Edison, and they ended up playing Mount St. Mary's in the final of their regional there, and they may be the best volleyball team in the state that I've seen so far. They're just incredible, so I wanted to throw that in there since you're covering multiple sports for Scorebook Live. Do you know where you're going to be next week?
I am planning to do Poto at Fort Gibson.
Okay, good deal. Well, buddy, appreciate it.
Now, I've yet to check on the Fort Gibson Broken Bow score. How did that game end up?
Broken Bow won.
Oh, Broken Bow won. Okay.
Yeah, they sure did. In fact, let me pull that up real here. Hang on just a second. Broken Bow 37, Fort Gibson 24.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Well,
yeah,
go absolutely.
Ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, Poto's kind of in control of the 4A4. If they win out, they got Fort Gibson next week and then Broken Bow the week after. So they control their own destiny in 4A4.
Okay, we'll be reading your work on Scorebook Live all throughout the weekend. Thanks for being with us.
You bet, Grant. We'll talk to you later.
The great Buck Ringgold joining us out of Eastern Oklahoma tonight. All right, we covered this game earlier in the hour, but we'll cover it from the Cushing side as Hugh Foley from KUSH 1600 Radio joins us. Hugh, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing fine, Grant. Randy, nice to talk to you again this week.
Well,
good to hear from you, man.
Give us the Cushing side of the equation tonight. You guys had a pretty good ball game up there.
Yeah, well, we're happy for the victory. Of course, first time the Tigers really had to play wire to wire since the close Tuttle loss back in week 4. And so some of that rust showed of only playing 3 quarters a week, 10 penalties and 4 turnovers for the Tigers. So it's tough to win a district ball game when that happens. But because Blanchard was really harassing Blaze Berlowitz all night, of course, he's been averaging 300 yards a game. But they double covered Camden Crooks, who's our leading receiver and scorer, actually. And so Cushing turned to the run game and wore down Blanchard throughout the game. So all of the scores by Cushing were running scores, and all by Noah Jones. Really, the turnover situation went in Cushing's favor via a Cushing interception with 11:45 left in the 4th. That was by Lane Yawn, and that was Blanchard's only turnover all night. It just came at the exact wrong time. And so it was really the run game tonight and some strong defense that pulled it out for the Cushing Tigers.
Who was your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
Well, I'd want to bring up Noah Jones because he ran the ball, but I got to give it to the guys on the offensive line, and that's going to be Ian Arnold, Blake Ferris, Lonnie Schuler, Nicholas Flores, Cade Ralston. They really put the power to the run game tonight, and I would make them all my particular picks for players of the game. Cushing now 7-1 with 2 games left. Next week, Ada and Hara, both those look like wins on paper anyway, and so ultimately, of course, Tuttle looms on the horizon, probably again the playoffs, depending on how it shakes down. But we're excited here in Cushing about everything that's going on with the Tigers. And very quickly, you may have seen Blaze Berlowitz on the Texas sideline last week in Austin, as he is a Texas recruit, the OSU-Texas game. So I think that's an exciting thing that's going on for the Berlowitz family and the Tigers.
All right. Well, appreciate you being on with us tonight, Hugh, and we will talk to you next week.
Okay, catch y'all down the road. Have a good one. Enjoy the show.
All right, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
you. We keep adding guests. So I don't know if you've noticed, I've added a couple more in the last 20 minutes, so it's flying by here, Grant.
Yeah, I saw a few of them coming up on our list here. So, of course, we will get to all of our calls here, and we will remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Aspen Health and Rehab, your long-term care solution in the Tulsa area. All right, back to the phone lines. The Guthrie Blue Jays in action tonight against Lawton Mack, and Chris Evans had the call on Hot 93.7 tonight. How are you, Chris?
Doing well, Grand Randy. How's everything tonight?
Good, man.
Doing well. By the way, just before we get to sports, outstanding coverage at GuthrieNewsPage.com on the wild news stories coming out of Guthrie this week. I did enjoy your work there. You guys are doing a great job up there.
I appreciate that, and unfortunately, that happens from time to time, and hopefully everything works out the way it's supposed to, and prayers to all the family.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to tell you, you're doing a great job up there covering all the news and just great coverage there. So
I appreciate that.
Let's talk something happy. Blue Jay football tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Guthrie wins it 28-10, but the score really didn't show you how close it was. It was a 7-7 ball game at halftime. Guthrie got an 11-yard touchdown catch from Carson Wilder. Lawton Ike tied it in the second quarter, a 33-yard touchdown reception by Corey McKellen. Guthrie gets a pick 6 from Jackson Walters to make it a 14-7 ball game. A 43-yard field goal by Lawton Ike would have been good from 50, made it 14-10. And so with 6 minutes to play, actually probably
with 2 minutes to play, it was a 14-10 ball game, but Isaiah Hammond scored on a 34-yard touchdown run and then a pick six with like 26 seconds left in the ball game. So Guthrie wins it 28-10, and so now it will be a showdown between Guthrie and McGinnis on senior night inside Gelsma Stadium. The winner will host a first-round playoff game. The loser has on the road against a very tough 5A1 opponent. As the 5A playoffs are going to be really, really fun this year. Normally, there's 2 or 3, maybe 4 teams that can win it. This year, there's 8 or 9 really, really good ball clubs, and the 5A playoffs are going to be fun to watch from the first round all the way to the finals this year.
Hey, Chris Guthrie, what's the atmosphere like that there this year? It seems like you guys are finally getting it back, a little bit of that mojo that the Blue Jays had for many years, and it took a little dip. It seems like maybe some of that mojo is coming back for Blue Jays.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Randy. The Jays have a great junior class, and the junior high programs are playing really well. So Guthrie's real excited about what they have right now and what they have coming up. But 7-1 on the season, that only lost to a very good Carl Albert team with only 4 seconds left in the ball game. And so Guthrie will get another great test with this McGinnis, but the crowds are still, Gelsman Stadium holds about 5,000. There's probably the home side was packed, so we probably had another 4,400 people in the stands. And real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Lawton Eisenhower. They might be the most talented team in 5A2, and that is a huge compliment. Their defense, they have some tremendous athletes, and that Lawton Knight program, their coach has done a great job, and I can't brag enough about them because they gave Guthrie everything they have. They got Piedmont and Carl Albert to finish up the season, but Lawton Knight is a very, very good program.
All right, Chris, thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
You guys have a great weekend.
All right,
thank you guys. Chris
Evans, voice of the Guthrie Blue Jays. We'll take a break. Be back right after this on the Prep Sports Post Game.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Let's face it, high school and college sports have changed, and if you plan on taking your talents to the next level, marketing is the name of the game. That is where the Martinez Agency comes in. The Martinez Agency is one of the fastest growing sports marketing firms in the region and can help you set up marketing avenues for your athletes. From player websites to navigating the ever-changing rules of name, imaging, and likeness to generating sponsorship dollars, the Martinez Agency does it all. Athletes, it is time to share your brand story. Log on to martinez-agency.com and find out how today.
If you're a coach or athletic director, this message is for you. Legacy Entertainment has provided light and sound for Oklahoma's hottest concerts for years, but now they're helping schools just like yours elevate their game day atmosphere. From providing light and sound systems to coordinating your team's run-through with fog machines and the hottest elements out there, they'll make sure Fridays are never the same again. They've helped schools like OU, and they'll help you too. Check them out at legacyllc.net. Legacy Entertainment, where every day is game day.
Continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
See you later, darling. I'm heading out to Central New Holland.
Not today, George. Remember, we have plans.
Yeah, I'm going out there to Central New Holland, West I-40, Council Exit, South Service Road. And I'm going to pick up some parts and drop the baler off for a tune-up.
Why don't you do it online at centralnewholland.net?
Well, because picking up parts is a lot more fun in person. And as for service, well, you can't email a baler, darling. Did you know that Central New Holland has serviced everything we've ever bought there? New Holland tractors, balers, skid steers, with genuine New Holland service and genuine New Holland parts.
Soon as we finish renewing our vows.
Our vows? I thought we just
did, George, but remember you failed the admissions test?
Well, darling, I'm sure that happens a lot.
Not right in the middle of the ceremony. For crying out loud, they had to evacuate the building.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
When the job is on the line, Central is a friend of mine.
Looking for a family-friendly food option that has something for everyone? Qdoba is the answer. Qdoba is a proud sponsor of the franchise high school game of the week. And whether you want a burrito stuffed with steak or you want a bowl filled with cilantro, lime rice, and black beans, Qdoba has you covered. Ask them about catering. They can take care of you from a small group of friends with chips and queso to major events. Remember, fast, friendly, and fresh. Qdoba on 1300 West Covella is the place to go.
Ken Boyer is everywhere. When a loved one has stumbled and ends up in jail, call Ken Boyer to make the bail. For immediate bond, day or night, look no further than Ken Boyer Bail Bonds. With over 35 years experience, let Ken and his professional staff help you. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, accepting all major credit cards. Conveniently located just 3 blocks north of the jail at the corner of Northwest 6th and Chartel. The right bondsman can make a difference. Call Ken Boyer Bail Bonds.
Back here on the Prep Sports Post Game across the great state of Oklahoma. I'm Grant Merrill. He is Randy Heights. It's 11:34, and we appreciate you being with us wherever you are. Also on Squirtle TV. Got a great number of people watching us on the video stream tonight, so thank you all for being a part of the program this evening. Back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline, a man whose team sits firmly atop the district standings on the Class 6A1 District 2 side of things, and that's Kirk Frederick, head coach at Union High School in Tulsa. Coach, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty good. Just on the turnpike coming back from Norman, and really good win for our football team. Played a tough Norman North team, and just proud that we were able to come out of there with a win.
30-14 final score tonight. Kind of give us the highlights. Who really stood out for you this evening?
Well, I felt like that, it was a pretty tough game early on. Norman North, a lot of credit to them, and they went down and scored. We had a tight game early, and tie ball game at 7-7 at the half, and talked to our team about facing adversity, and they were really positive about things. And then Norman North returned the opening kickoff second half back, so we had a battle in our hands. But offensively, Rovon Banks, the quarterback, did a great job, and Junior Smith ran the ball really well, and defensively we were able to shut them down in the second half and get some pressure. And I'm really proud of the way our guys played.
Hey, Coach, a couple of weeks left in the regular season, and you're going to be in the playoffs. How do you manage the last 2 weeks? Because I know injuries are a concern, but you also want to stay in your rhythm and be peaking as you go into the playoffs.
Yeah, you do. You want to try to you don't want to waste any time for sure, because teams that are healthy, like you said, you want to stay healthy. You got to have a little bit of luck there, and but ultimately we spend our entire year centered around week 11, which is when the playoffs start. So our kids are constantly trying to improve and just really trying to get to a point where we can correct mistakes and be ready to go week 11. And we're certainly not there yet, and we've got a couple of games with Southmore and Edmond North, and those games, fortunately for us, will be at home, and so we'll have a chance to focus and really try to get ready for to play those opponents, but also be working on us at the same time.
If you're just joining us, Union High School coach Kirk Frederick along with us here on the Prep Sports Post Game, and it's a seismic shift in the teams behind you in the district with Owasso losing the Mustang. And, I know that you guys are focused on getting these last 2 weeks out, but you kind of start to look ahead and see where things might end up. And in Oklahoma high school football, it can change really quickly.
Yeah, it can. And we've been on that side of it before, and the last couple of years. And we've had some things happen in the past where it comes down to district points, and so we've really stressed with our team to try to get our district points. We've been fortunate enough to pick those up tonight on the field goal of Mr. Forbes, our kicker. And again, just for us, it's about trying to get those district points and trying to get in the best possible position. But one of the things, you mentioned Owasso and Mustang, and our district is really tough. And I mean, there's more that's playing really well. There's Norman North, and you know, this is that time of year you start to match up with the other district or think about that in the playoffs. And you know, 6A has become really competitive in the last few years.
Coach, who is your Martinez Agency Player of the Game tonight?
You know, I mean, that's awful hard for me to say. I mean, we've got a lot of kids that play extremely well, and really proud of a lot of our kids. And that's hard for me to say. But you know, Robon Banks, our quarterback, really kind of put the ball in his hands there in the second half, and you know, for our team to score those points, I was really proud of him.
All right, Coach. Next up for Union.
Yeah, we've got Southmore. So Southmore has struggled a little bit this year, but we'll have to get back and grade this video and get ready to play those guys. And again, it's getting close to the end here. It's obviously hard across the horizon and see what everyone's doing, but a lot of good football still to play.
Hey, at least no matter what happens, we know that Union has a very good place to host a playoff game now with all these renovations. I know you're looking forward to that.
Oh my gosh, we love playing at the big house. It's becoming quite a place, and we're pretty spoiled. But man, any game that you can come watch there, you guys should do that. And it's an outstanding place and a great venue.
All right, Coach. Thank you for being with us tonight. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
All right, Coach Kirk Frederick joining us, head coach at Union High School in Tulsa. 11:39. On to the next call. We go on the Rogers State University in-studio hotline, and that is Chris Fossey. He had the call tonight as
Westmore and Edmond Memorial.
Westmore and Edmond Memorial faced off. How are you, Chris?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing
Good,
well.
man.
Doing well.
First time on in a while. I keep having Thursday games or fall break Friday games. So
Exactly. It's kind of been weird, huh?
it felt good at halftime to actually be able to give scores from around the state. so just sitting there going, what do we do?
Chris, Westmore gets back on the winning track tonight, man.
Man, it has been a struggle this year, but yes, Westmore finally gets back. First district win. So this was the worst record to open a season in school history. They started off 1-6. They're now 2-6. But here's what's crazy is if they win out, which they got to beat a little team outside of Tulsa called Jinx to do so. But they got UConn for senior night next week, and then they go on the road to Jinx. But if they win out, they somehow can backdoor their way into a playoff spot. I did the math on it today, and I was like, oh my gosh! But they do have to win out, and things kind of helped tonight with some games here and there. But crazy game, little sloppy game there in Edmond versus Westmore because of they're the two bottom teams of the district, and so they're fighting to see who could get off the floor. And Westmore, came out. They actually almost blew a big lead. Edmond got a onside there at the end, and they had a chance to go tie it, but threw an interception to Westmore. But just a crazy game, sloppy, lots of turnovers, but it actually made for an exciting, fun game. So if you're there, you got your money's worth.
All right, your Martinez Agency Player of the Game tonight. Who is it?
I got two, and here's why. Gavion Williams had 2 catches for 116 yards, and 20 of those came on 1 catch. So if you can do the math, he set a school record for the longest play from line of scrimmage, 96 yards. And my other player of the game is going to be Jake Blyce, who threw him the ball. He had 250 for the 250 plus for 2 touchdowns and an interception. But yeah, longest play from line of scrimmage. I originally looked it up and I was like, oh, that's the longest pass. And then I really got to look and I was like, wait, that's the longest play, period. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, and Gavion Williams, Westmore has a lot of wide receivers that haven't been able to catch a lot of balls here just because they've been, haven't been able to get a quarterback that could get it to him. And he's a guy that, if he just had a quarterback, he'd probably be getting D1 offers everywhere. And today, on that 96-yard pass play, you kind of saw why. He basically did all the work. He started in the backfield and just housed it. And it was impressive. But anyway, Gavion Williams and Jake Blyce.
All right, Chris, thank you for being with us. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Good talking to you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
One Chris to another. We go from Chris Fossey to Chris Gibson. Chris Gibson had the call between Cashion and Ulysses, Kansas tonight. They faced off up at Alva at Northwestern Oklahoma State. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. Still on the road, headed back. Got a 2.5-hour drive
Hey,
up to Alba tonight.
I wouldn't have driven to Ulysses, Kansas if they were handing out $100 bills at the city limits. I'm just glad you only had to go to Alba.
Well, I think Lane Broadbent, our halftime guy, he didn't make the Ulysses, Kansas fans too happy tonight. He was calling them the Ulysses, Kansas feedlotters, and they were not happy about that.
Wait, did you just say feedlotters?
Yeah, that's what he was.
I love it.
His comment on that was, but it was a great game. I mean, it was a game where Coach Shackelford, we had an open weekend this weekend with OBA falling down to playing the independent 8-man schedule, and Coach Shackelford out of nowhere picks out Ulysses, Kansas, a 4A school up there, and gives us a chance to get our boys out there on the field and play a quality opponent against a bigger school that maybe will give us a little bit of better competition and get ready for that next game next week against Tonkawa Buccaneers.
Well, let me tell you, my wife was the head volleyball coach at Andale, Kansas. They played Ulysses in the sub-state regional tournaments, and I mean, my gosh, you couldn't pick a longer drive if you're having to play them. I mean, it is way out there. So I know that you guys had a lot of fans all over coming to watch this tonight. So, well, who's your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight, Chris?
Yes, sir. It could be Ben Harmon about every week, or Landon Lagash. Both those kids have been putting up huge numbers. But tonight, really, it was Mason Manning. He had 7 catches with 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Mason Manning has been a kid that has always, the last all year long has put up huge numbers and just haven't got in the end zone.
Oh.
And tonight he got in the end zone twice. And did a great job on defense, coming up and making big plays. We had the sophomore Bryce Burke also make 15 tackles tonight, had a big game. So a lot of injuries with Wildcats the last few weeks. Finally kind of getting healthy. We had a bye week last week, and looking for a big showdown with the Tonkawa next week for the district championship.
Well, listen, a game. I'm not one to pass along trash talk, but I will tonight. Big Ben Welch was in the studio with us at the beginning of the hour, and as he left, he literally dropped the mic and said something about Tonka was taking it all as we were talking about the cashing game. So that was his last words to us.
We have a lot of fun with Ben going back and forth on Twitter. They roll out the red carpet for us when we come up there, and we sure for those guys. But hey, we'll take on the challenge. We're not afraid to back down from just about anybody. The guy earlier talking about Gore, he was throwing out there that nobody really talks about him. Well, Squirtle has them ranked at number 2 in above us.
Well,
and you know what?
Justin didn't have electricity at his house, so he hadn't read Squirtle lately.
Yeah. Paul Huska, they were pretty much begging Gore to say, come on, let's go play this week, because both of them had games canceled. And Gore kind of backed out of that deal. I don't know what was up with that.
I don't know. I don't either. You could go up there and you could eat with the Pioneer woman who's going to be at the game. I mean, why wouldn't you want to go to Pahuska? So
I should go to Pahuska. That sounds really good right now.
Yeah, well, she does cook good food. All right. Well, Chris, thank you for being with us. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys, for having us. We always appreciate y'all.
We'll just let the winner between Cashin and Tonkawa call in the report next week. Is the
we had to have both. Come on now.
Bonus there. There you go.
Hey, I was hoping he was still going to be there whenever we jumped on. I was going to rib him a little bit.
There you go. Hey, Chris, thanks, man.
Appreciate you. All right, real quickly, let's go. We got about a minute left. We get with Night Train Lane, of course. Booker T with a big game tonight. How are you, sir?
Hey, good, Grant. How about yourself?
Well, doing well. Give us the game player of the game between Booker T and Ponca City tonight. Who's your Martinez Agency player of the game?
It's got to be Ethan Washington. Maybe a real close tie with Dion McKinney Jr. Both those guys are outstanding running backs. They played a heck of a ball game, especially after Ponca City was on down 13-10.5. But apparently the coach had something to say to them at half because they outscored Ponca City 28-0 in the second half.
All right, next up for Booker T. Washington, who you got?
They got the Muskogee Roughers, of course. That's next week. And, of course, the following week, they're looking forward to playing the #1 ranked team, the Bixby Spartans.
That's going to be a heck of a ball game. We'll look forward to visiting with you on that one. And that's a big question, Night Train. Everybody's wondering, can anybody catch Bixby? I think Booker T's licking their chops.
Oh, yeah, that's about the only team, and they've been looking forward to Bixby since that 70 they dropped on them a year or so ago.
Oh, boy. All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you letting us call, and we will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
There he is, the legendary Night Train Lane joining us. Back to wrap up the show after this, Cameron Jordan from the Oklahoman when we come back on the Prep Sports Post Game.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly. Keep the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
As the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at Amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
The franchise. Mission Point Apartments in Moore gives you exclusive access to quality living with luxurious amenities. Mission Point is located near I-35 and 19th Street in Moore, with quick access to restaurants, shopping, and activities. Mission Point Apartments is the perfect place to call home. Modern stainless steel appliances, ceramic tile, and a designer accent wall complement your decor style. Call or come in today. Mission Point Apartments, a Case & Associates property.
I barely felt anything, and it was over in less than 10 minutes.
Almost instantaneously when I sat up, you could tell a difference.
Patient after patient after patient proclaims profound surprise and delight at the speed and simplicity of their LASIK from Dr. Luke's team at Clearsight.
So one of the most common things I hear after doing LASIK is, you know what, Doc, I can't believe how fast that was.
I got up off the table and was like, that's it.
It starts with a free, no obligation eye exam. Have your free exam at Clearsight by October 31st and get a new pair of Maui Jim, Ray-Ban, or Kate Spade sunglasses on us when you have your LASIK.
The experience of it being easy just shows how complex and how far we've come to make it easy for the patient.
Call 733-2020 or visit clearsight.com. And remember,
2020 or it's free.
That's the Clearsight guarantee. And you are going to love what you see.
One of the most simple procedures you could ever have to improve your life so drastically.
Adventure is waiting.
Cali Customs has bumpers, hitches, winches, lift kits, wheels, and tires, and much more. But what if your truck is already lifted? Cali Customs does front-end rebuilds. Don't let some worn-out bushings keep you from enjoying the road. Upgrade your ride today. Call Cali Customs, your suspension expert. Call Cali Customs today. Cali Customs in OKC, making your vehicle better. Cali Customs, 634-6386. That's 405-634-6386.
Adventure is waiting.
We welcome you back to the Prep Sports Post Game on the GameDayOklahoma.com network. I'm Grant Merrill. He's Randy Heights.
It's flown by, Grant.
Randy found out that Troy Aikman was in Henrietta today to host their pep rally.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, he was in Cleveland last night.
I know.
I got a feeling you don't get big jets to fly into
I was
Henrietta.
about to say, could you get a nonstop between Cleveland and Henrietta?
Something tells me he flies private. That's just going to be a guess.
I don't know. Can the Henrietta Airport handle a jet, though?
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Wow. Well, we need
Pretty crazy. But that's pretty cool to see him come back to Oklahoma to his high school.
We'll look into this and report back next week.
Now, I think he was promoting a concert with Blake Shelton in this summer, but still, he came back to Henrietta.
Another man who is rumored to attend games via the luxury of private air travel is Cameron Jordan of the Oklahoman. How are you, sir?
I'm not so sure about that. Real quick question or story on that, though. I do know a group of officials from back in the day who one of them had a pilot's license, and I kid you not, they used to fly to different towns that they were officiating games in on those nights.
Yeah,
one of the coolest things I've heard.
That is awesome. That is pretty. I got to fly to one game in my life when we were down in Little Rock and we played in the very northern part of Arkansas, and I felt like I was a Hollywood movie star or something. But we should probably sell more ads on this show to the point that we could start flying to games, Cameron. And
I like that.
You're welcome to come with us. So
I'm sure that would be really put a banner behind the plane while you're at it and just free advertising on your way to and from the game.
Yes, absolutely. Well, where were you tonight?
I was out in Kingfisher tonight for Mount St. Mary at Kingfisher. It was a really quick game, ended at 9:05. But part of the reason why is because both teams really ran the ball the whole time. Kingfisher actually didn't throw a pass the entire game. Part of the reason why is because they have about 10 starters out right now because of injuries. But Slade Snodgrass was big for them. He had an interception. On defense, on offense, he had 24 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Actually, Kingfisher's only 2 touchdowns of the night. But Alan Munoz was kind of the hero starting running back tonight for Kingfisher. Kicked a 33-yard field goal with 3:15 left to give them the 15-13 win, and not secured a playoff spot quite yet. There's still a bunch of dominoes that could fall to where Kingfisher could end up missing the playoffs, but it gives them a really big leg up to in that district to continue their playoff streak.
Hey, not on this game, but we've been talking a lot about 6A1 tonight, Cameron, and I saw a tweet from you. 6A1's a little bit up in the air right now as far as your rankings, and some interesting things happening tonight.
Yeah, I think looking at it, Mustang is really 2 plays away from being a 7-1 football team.
That's
if not for Gage Gundy having a 60-yard touchdown pass with about 40 seconds left to win that game back in week 2, and then in week 3 they lose by 4 points to Norman. T.S. McClarty scores on the last play of the game. 2 plays away from being 7-1. So what Mustang did tonight, while it's surprising, it shouldn't come as like a complete shock, like they had no chance in this game. Mustang a couple years ago went up and beat Tulsa Union. They're a team that's growing. I heard you guys when I was driving home from Kingfisher as well. You mentioned how the West Side seems to have the skill positions where they don't match up all the time is in the trenches. Mustang made a really big hire this offseason, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but they hired the strength coach away from Bixby. If you ask Warren Montgomery what is one of the biggest reasons he's been able to grow that program like he has, it's because of their strength and conditioning program. So since that hire, it's already year 1, and they're 5-3 now. If they win out, they're hosting a first-round playoff game, and that just goes to show how much that program has turned around. And it's year 3 under Lee Blankenship now, and just how great they've done. But that's a really big win for them, and something that should give them a lot of momentum here these next 2 weeks.
These Blankenship family dinners are getting a little more awkward with Josh being at Broken Arrow and then Mustang beating Owasso tonight. I'm sure they, with Lee Blankenship getting that win, that's probably something he's looked forward to for a while.
It could be a little awkward too if the way the playoff bracket's shaking out right now, if dominoes again, if they kind of fall the way that they're expected to. It looks like we could have Blankenship Bowl Part 2, father against son, in the first round of the playoffs with Broken Arrow hosting Owasso. So that could make it an interesting Thanksgiving. Interesting Thanksgiving for sure.
I told Bill, when I was doing Owasso a couple of years ago, I said, the first 3 games of the season, there's always something go with you because, first of all, we played Fayetteville where he had just come from as head coach, and then we played Union where he was for 15 years, and then Josh moves to Broken Arrow. It's just like, and then Lee Blankenship at Mustang. I mean, there's always a storyline for good writers like you, Cameron.
It's his fingerprints are well scattered throughout the state in high school football, and you see that every single week.
Any other big surprises on your side tonight?
Not really. I think it was kind of I don't want to say a quiet night. There were a bunch of really important matchups all across the state, but there wasn't anything like we've been really fortunate the last few weeks. Had a bunch of rematches of state championship games and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. I think Del City coming back. They were down 21-0, coming back and beating Del City in overtime. This kind of goes to show they've won 7 straight games now. Kind of goes to show how great of a season they're having. Choctaw has won 2 straight games and obviously only a 13-point win tonight against a really good Sand Springs team. But so they've kind of shown even after what happened a couple weeks ago, that's just the gap between Bixby and everybody else in 6A2. But no, there's a bunch of really, really big matchups in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be, I think you guys kind of already mentioned it, and I've heard it throughout the show tonight. A bunch of people have already talking about how the playoff bracket is going to shape out, and we're going to know a lot more after next week, and then obviously in 2 weeks we're going to know everything.
Mm-hmm. I just want to remind Kingfisher play-by-play voice Michael Swisher that I did go 8-0 on the Squirtle Pick'em show last week.
He's mentioned that a couple of times, Cameron.
Cameron, have you tallied up to see how you did in last night's show since you were this week's guest picker?
I unfortunately did not go 8-0. I went 7-1 because I picked Covington Douglas to beat Garber, and Garber ended up winning that game 40-32. So
my ego has just multiplied by 10.
Oh, jeez.
I went 8-0 and Cameron went 7-1. Holy smokes! All right, brother. Well, we will talk to you next week, and we will be reading your coverage all weekend long in the Daily Oklahoma. And thanks for being with us tonight.
I appreciate it as always, guys.
Cameron Jordan joining us tonight. Well, Randy, big show tonight. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah.
And
it flew
Eric,
by,
you as
man.
well. Yeah, we will see you next week. Good night. God bless you. Thanks for listening to the Prep Sports Post Game on the GameDayOklahoma.com network.
KRXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite